So there is one little habit that I am seeing constantly show up in relationships and also the dating world. And it is hurting y'all to a whole nother level and you don't even realize it. So today I'm like, no, let's call it out. Let's fix that because I really believe if you can shift this one area, oh my goodness, you will gain so much more success in your relationship and in that dating world. Okay. Hello, beautiful people. I'm Dani Wigfall, your go to relationship coach. I also happen to be a mental health therapist, a wife, a mom, creative artist, yada, yada, that list goes on. But I'm not getting into that list. I am really passionate about creating stronger connections, not just building strong routines. Okay. I'm really in this for really creating stronger families, stronger relationships with yourself. Okay. But now let's get into this video. There's a point that happens in every relationship or when you're dating that could happen. Not for everybody, but a lot of people, this does happen where you can make the choice whether to share or to hold things in. Like, no, I'm not going to say that right now. You really stop saying how you really feel about things, either because of how that person has received those things before, or based on your past experiences where maybe it didn't go over well, or someone hit on a nerve or an insecurity, or you don't feel like that person may agree or understand where you're coming from. So now it's like, oh, let me hold these things in. But here's the truth: keeping these things in consistently isn't helping the situation. Is it making it comfortable? Sure, for the moment, but it's causing a lot more harm than you even realize. Sometimes it's just quietly killing the one thing that you truly want in that relationship, which is connection. Now, keeping some things to yourself is healthy, but not all the time. Keep in mind, there's a difference between shutting someone out and just deciding not to say all of the things of everything that's happening, right? There's a difference there. I'm actively like pushing you slowly. Another one is like, no, I kind of want to just keep this to myself, just for whatever that reason may be. Now, if you continually keep keeping things to yourself and they're important to you, or they affect your relationship or even your dating life, that becomes a problem, especially when we don't find ways to communicate them or to support whatever that is. So, if you're ready to stop playing it safe and keeping things real, stay with me here. Now, I'm going to give it to you straight. This is the habit. The habit is quietly avoiding connection because of your past experiences or because of comfortability, right? We want to be comfortable. If it doesn't make it super comfortable for us, then we're not going to do it. Now, here is something that I see all the time. People are quietly avoiding connection because either they got hurt before, they don't know how something's going to land. They may not feel safe in the situation where it's like, oh, this person just might go off the handle if I say this. Also, it could be because of like childhood experiences that that person might have experienced, or they just got used to playing it safe because safe is comfortable, not too much rocking of the boat. Now, this avoidance can seem harmless. Oh, I'm not going to say that. Oh, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings. I'm not going to say that. Oh, I know this person isn't going to agree, so I'm not going to say that, right? But there's a point where it goes from harmless to harmful. And over time, it can create this emotional distance if you're choosing to move forward with this person. And that is the exact opposite of what you want to build. You want to build emotional openness and connection versus emotional distance, where it's just like, not going to say that, not going to say that. Well, I really feel strongly about this, but absolutely not. You want to build a relationship where you feel seen, where you feel heard, where you feel safe, where you two like, no, this is my person. We know each other. We go together. Not just go together, but no, we go together. You know when those couples just mesh where it's like they're in their own world doing their own thing and they are healthy and happy? Yes, that. The issue here with the quiet avoidance is it's slowly causing you to grow apart from that person. So, although you may be thinking, I'm keeping the peace, I'm not going to bring this up, I'm not going to say this, what you're really doing is sweeping a lot of things under the rug for the sake of comfort, for the sake of whatever that may be. Fill in the blank of what that might be for you. Under this rug is all these things piling up, and it's becoming a wedge in between you and your partner to the point where you guys are constantly growing apart. People are like, oh, we just grew apart. No, growing apart doesn't just happen with one thing. Like it's a lot of little things that don't go checked, that don't go talked about, that aren't supported. And people start to drift away from each other because all of this is under the rug, just pushing the two people apart, right? Or however many people, just pushing them apart in these type of scenarios. So it may seem harmless. It may seem like, oh, but this moment I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to have to deal with, or I don't want to have to hear. It can be very harmful if this is done repeatedly, time after time after time. So what does this look like when you're dating, right? When you're dating, this looks like, for example, even let's say initially dating, right? How you put yourself out there. Some people don't want to put themselves out there on apps because, well, I've done that before, didn't have great experiences. Okay. But then they also don't want to put themselves out there in person because, well, maybe they don't want to go out by themselves. Maybe it's like, oh, that's uncomfortable. Now we're avoiding connection because of discomfort. So sometimes we have to choose, what discomfort is it? Because the options are either I'm meeting someone online or I'm going to meet them in person somewhere. Now, you might have someone that just connects you perfectly with your perfect match and you're good to go. Great. That does not happen all the time. So be mindful. Are you quietly avoiding something because it's not comfortable for you? I see this time and time again where singles are like, oh, I'm so over the dating apps. I'm so over the dating apps. I'm like, okay, so another option is we're looking at in person. If we don't want to dive into like how you can do dating apps well, then we shift into, okay, how can we do in person well, I don't want to do in person because I don't want to go out by myself. So now you're stuck. So now it's, well, I'm a homebody. I don't like going out and I don't want to go out by myself. Who does that, right? But then it's also online. People are creepy and all of the things. So what I'm saying here is you have to choose your discomfort, or just accept the fact that you don't want to step in any of those discomforts. You don't want to take the risk because maybe it's just not worth it for you. And maybe it's not. Maybe it's like, actually, I'd rather be a homebody. I don't want a relationship. Totally fine. Or maybe you're the person that thinks this person should just fall in my lap organic and it should just happen. And for some people, that is true. But for other people, some intention behind dating, some intention behind your relationship, even actually, a lot of intention behind your relationship matters. It changes your opportunities. And that's with anything. If you put effort towards something, you can create more opportunities for yourself if you're willing to put yourself out there versus all these things should just fall into my lap. Like, think about it. Say, like, you decided you want to go to college, right? But you wanted scholarships and you're just waiting on the school to give you all the scholarships. That's great. They might. And you might have scholarships and it might be fully paid for and you're good to go. But you also have an opportunity to apply to a lot of outside scholarships that aren't given by your school or your institution. And that's just going to increase your opportunities for meeting your goal. Having this fully paid for or as much paid for as possible. Same thing with dating. You're just increasing your opportunities to meet people and to build connection. But if you're running from the connection because of a discomfort here or discomfort there, well, where are you going to find it? At some point, you have to decide, okay, I'm willing to face the hardness of this discomfort because on the other side of that, I know what I really want and I really want that. Not just talk about it, want it, but I'm willing to put some action in. Or I can accept the fact that I don't want to put that action in. I'm okay where I'm at. I will be a homebody. That's okay. But also recognizing that really coming to acceptance of that is important. Not, well, I accept that I don't want to do it, but I'm still going to complain every single day about like, there's nobody out here. And at this age, it's so hard to find people. And this is especially for my 35 to 55, where people are in their lives and they have kids, and then maybe your friends are married, and the pool gets smaller of who's not a homebody at this age, who's not trying to figure things out. And don't even get me started because wages, what we make, has not caught up to our living, our living expenses. So now people have to work so much harder and so much more, which also is lessening our opportunities to just have fun and go out, and not have to stress so much financially. I do think, no one has mentioned this and I haven't seen it on research yet, but I do think the financial burden that is happening where wages are not keeping up with the standard cost of living is hurting the dating life. I really do. Um, so when the research comes out, if you guys see that, send it my way. But that is something that I do think relates to that piece, like people are more stressed these days. A lot of things are happening, and so the pools get smaller and smaller and smaller. Just one little piece of it. All in all, what I'm saying in this piece is pick a discomfort if that's something that you really like, right? And go with that. Step out of your comfort zone for that. Don't quietly avoid the situation when it comes to dating. Like, no, I'm not going to go out. I don't have anyone to go with. Or no, I tried it one time and it didn't work. I tried it 2 times and it didn't work, right? Keep going after it. If it's something you want, you're increasing your chances. As long as you're being safe. Now, please be intentional and use your intuition, okay? Don't just, I'm putting myself out there. Don't do crazy, crazy, risky things. That is not what I want you to get from this video. And I know we have all types of people watching these videos, so I just want to make that clear. Even though it feels like I should not have to say that, still, I want to say that because I want you guys to also use your intuition. Like if something doesn't feel safe, don't do something unsafe just because, well, I want that, No, don't put yourself in harm's way. Please be smart about how you move. There's a difference between I'm protecting myself from harm and I'm avoiding a discomfort. Now, another piece I want to bring up in that dating world is, let's say you are invited to a lot of events and like things where you can hang out with people and you're constantly like, nope, I decline, not going to this event, not hanging out with these friends, or you're just choosing to hang out with your married friends who don't happen to have single friends. So you're not even meeting their friends. You're not telling them, hey, I'm interested in meeting people. If you know someone great, say that to some people, not all people. You're avoiding the dating apps. You're avoiding going out in person. All of these things that you're avoiding, yes, they keep you comfortable. But deep down, your long-term goal, is that really comfortable for you if it was to stay like that? You can be very comfortable and then not connected. So, this is a big one. Another area where we're quietly avoiding connection is this thing I like to say is, and this usually happens in dating. This is mostly where I see this called the chameleon effect. I don't know if it's called that, but that's what I call it. Where you're being so agreeable with that other person. Yes, I agree with this. Yes, I like that too. Oh, yes, I like that too. Where you're starting to, and I'm not talking about if you really agree with that person, but it's you're starting to shift what you believe to mesh with whatever that person will think is good or looks amazing, or like, wow, we're really relating on these things. You're starting to just be agreeable for the sake of, could be for the sake of your ego, could be for the sake of like, I want to be liked, I need to be liked, or I'm really liking this person, so I'm gonna say whatever I need to say, or I want to avoid uncomfortable situations, so I'm being agreeable. So I'm adapting to whatever this person is about to say so that I can feel accepted. The chameleon effect, okay? The problem with this is when you start making all of these shifts towards the person, you start to lose yourself, right? And let's just say this relationship, it turns into a relationship. Like the dating, now it turns into a relationship. Now this person is thinking that you're okay with all these things or that you don't like all these things and that you're aligned on things that you're not truly aligned on. And so now all of the wrestling and tussling starts to happen, right? Because it's like either I can't put up with this, or I've lost myself so much that I will just agree with whatever this person says until one day I have some awakening moment where it's like, wait, who am I? I lost myself in this relationship. I lost myself in whatever, fill in the blank. So the chameleon effect, just be mindful. It's one thing to be polite. It's another thing to be, I'm shifting my ideas and my beliefs for the moment so I can get that approval from the other person. So don't silently avoid conversations just because you want to, I want to make this comfortable. Now, I'm not telling you put all your business out there. I would never say that. Actually, I believe that's not healthy. Some things we should keep to ourselves. But I don't want you transforming who you are in that moment just for that person. Because then you lose the best parts of you. You lose your uniqueness. You lose the value you bring to the relationship. And then you start to just clone whoever that person is. Sometimes when you're being so agreeable to somebody else, you're really being dishonest to yourself. So not only are you doing a disservice to yourself, but also to that other person. Because this person is thinking, like, wow, yes, okay. And it's okay if you change your mind later down the road. But if you know from the beginning that these are things you don't align on, or these things, like I said, all these things, but those aren't actually true about me or what I think, then just be prepared that down the line, if this progresses, there might be some issues and there might be some headbutts and there might be some moments, that might be harder. One thing I want you to check for is the core values. Your core values, things you truly care about. Do those things align? Because those matter. Okay, like if you start shifting on core values, like, yeah, I don't want kids either. Yeah, I do want kids. Yeah. Just be very mindful in that piece, because core values are a lot harder to manage when they don't align in relationships. Now, in relationships, avoidance looks different, but it is very damaging. So let's get into it. So, quietly avoiding connection and discomfort can sometimes look like, usually there is one person in a relationship that's like, let's handle this right now. I want to talk about it. I want to get this out. And then there's another person that's like, we can wait till later. And sometimes later may come, sometimes it may not come. But in these type of situations, timing matters. First, when we disagree on things in relationships, timing does matter. I'm not saying you have to handle everything in that right time, but I am saying it is important to talk about the things that are bothering you. Kind of like how I mentioned earlier in the video, where it's like we're sweeping things under the rug. I know I'm gonna hear this person's mouth, so I don't want to hear it, so I'm gonna sweep it under the rug. We can only do so much sweeping under the rug before it drives that wedge in between us. Okay, so be mindful. If you're continuously feeling like you need to shut down, and you're shutting down and not doing the work where you guys are working through whatever that issue is, whatever's reoccurring that is bothering you or is a challenge in your relationship, then that one person's going to decide to get off. Like, that's it. I'm done. I'm over it. You know, and it's going to feel like it came out of nowhere, but it was from maybe that person just keeping so much in and not knowing how to express that to you, where all of a sudden it's like, this person's gone and they've ghosted me, you know? So being quiet, and this is for both people, being quiet and not sharing how you truly feel about things that are really bothering you can start to drive that wedge. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to your partner to not find support on how you can navigate these things. Whether it's communication, whether it's getting a coach, a therapist, books, podcasts, whatever that work may be, but doing the work. I don't know why, when it comes to relationships, and I don't know if it's any other area of life that we do this, but in relationships, it's kind of like, take me as I am. This is all I know. And if it works out, it's great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Where we just leave our relationships to fate. And it's like, what I know is what I know, and that's it, right? Or, well, I tried therapy that one time, it didn't work. So, well, the relationship is over. But we don't do that in a lot of other areas of life. Like, let's say if we are starting a new role at our job, you're not expected to know all of the things to be 100% successful at your job, right? You're going to have to learn the systems, the software, the people, whatever that may be. You don't just come in like, you should know this new system. You should know how to do all of these things. Usually there's a training that happens. Like, you're not expected to know every single thing when you're starting a new role at a job, or you have a new role that's just happened in your life, like being a mom or being a father or being a whatever. You're not expected to know all of the things, even though there might be some pressure too. There's an opportunity where training comes into play, where getting support comes into play, where asking other people or the community, whatever that might be, comes into play, that can really drive the success of you in that role. Same thing if it was, let's say, kids and they're going to a new grade, right? And so it's a new level of math. You don't just expect the kid to, well, you should know everything from the grade before. So everything you know, instead of learning and taking some time to learn something new, to get that training in something new so you could take it and understand whatever that level of math is, it's like, what if you just said, or your kids just said, nope, what I know is what I know, and that should be good enough to carry me through, right? I'm not willing to be open to learning more. What I know should give me the job that I want. It should give me the career, it should give me the fun. I should know everything about whatever financially with everything that I know, let's say from grade two, right? Second grade. We don't do that. No, we go through an educational system, many of us, so we can learn more to increase our opportunities of success. Whatever success is for you. Some people, and I don't want to equate this just to career because education isn't just about career, but it could be about how you are as a human being, how you show up in the world. So don't get me down that rabbit hole. I will go far down that rabbit hole, and that's not what I'm trying to do right now. I'm just sharing an example of where we get the training, we get the skill sets to advance and find success in whatever that goal is for us or whatever that goal is for our kids. Same thing with relationships, but relationships we do it differently. We take the mindset on of like, let fate be fate. I'm a person. This is a great person. We should mesh well together. We have a little bit of chemistry, and there we have it. And we just expect it to work out without getting any type of support, training, communication, surrounding ourselves by people that have the thing that we want genuinely, not just the social media versions of it, but truly have that. And to be frank, sometimes that's hard to find. But getting that support is so important. You don't have to know it all in your relationships. This is a new person, or even sometimes you might have been with this person for 10 years, but also they're shifting and you're shifting. But when you're shifting, you want to shift together, not apart. So don't expect to know all of the things. You won't know all of the things, right? Don't expect that just, oh, where I am is where I am, because you're not going to grow in those spaces. So I just want to encourage you to get that support that you want if you need it. If the relationship is like, ooh, this is a little rough right now, you know, and mind you, it takes two people. So it can't just be one person that is going after the support. If the relationship is rocky, it is very helpful when it's two people that are finding support to better their relationship. Because a lot of times, what I'll see is it's one person that's like dragging the other person to a session, and then once they get to a session, it's like, oh, this was so great. Why did I wait so late to do this? But also, sometimes people don't have the best experiences in other situations where it's like, well, we tried it once, it didn't work for us, we did it for like a month. It takes two people to make a relationship work, right? So it also takes two people to help find solutions or ways to manage the relationship. It's so much harder when it's just one person and the other person is just kind of being dragged along, right? But you can go so much further, a lot faster too, when two people are really committed to each other, but also committed to the growth of the relationship. Sometimes people can be committed to that person, but they're not committed to the growth of the relationship. And so you'll see someone, hey, read this article. Hey, listen to this podcast. Hey, please come to therapy. I'm begging you. I'm dragging you. Come on. Da, 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 da. And the other person is like, oh, maybe, maybe not, or I don't quite believe in that, or whatever. Find supports that work for the both of you, but it takes two active people with that growth mindset to really find that success that they want. You know. So that is my thing. Don't be lazy in your relationships and don't expect to know all of the things or avoid those tough conversations because it's like, ooh, this person's going to go off. I don't even want to hear their mouth. Sometimes you can pick that, but if that becomes a repeat over and over and over again, just know the more stuff that gets pushed under that rug or the more stuff that gets thrown out of that closet, eventually someone's going to get off the ride and decide, I don't want to be in this relationship. This isn't worth it for me. I don't want any parts of it. This was just way too much. It could be either or. So keep that in mind. When you decide that I'm not going to say anything, like, is it something that you can really let go of and truly let go of it? Or is it something you're pushing under the rug that still bothers you? Now, keep in mind, I said timing is important. You don't have to talk about everything that you feel in that moment. Sometimes that's not a great time to share that with that person. I have a habit of this. Well, I used to back in the beginning of my relationship where I like to have deep conversations late at night. So I'll be asking the deepest things late at night. He's like, babe, I'm asleep. And like I could have easily taken that as like, he doesn't want to talk to me. He's not even interested. Da 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 da. But I had to realize, no, not everyone is wired the same way I'm wired. He may not want to have those deep conversations with me at that time. So, Dani, find another time where it's better for him to have those deep conversations that you really, really want to have and see if they're happening. Are they happening then? Yes, they are. Okay, great. That's a better time because it's not just you forcing your will on this person. You also have to be considerate and truly see that person as well. And that's why timing matters. Sometimes you can be forcing an issue with someone and you're really pushing them away instead of getting that connection that you really want. So I do want to bring attention to discomforts, right? Pay attention to your discomforts. Are they keeping you safe? Because some discomforts, they're keeping us safe. Or are they limiting our opportunities? And it would be safe for us, but we're just choosing not to because it's not comfortable. Okay? And decide, am I willing to accept whatever the outcome is of this situation? Am I willing to accept the fact that I'm not going to take a risk and I'm limiting my opportunities? Okay, I'm limiting my opportunities, but truly accept that. But if you don't want to accept that and you want to create more opportunities for yourself, step out of that comfort zone. Maybe say some things in your relationship. Maybe find the help that you need in your relationship. But just quietly avoiding connection or discomfort is that one habit that will wreck your relationship or your dating life. So if you know someone that could use any information in this video or you just love them, share this video with them. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, or leave it in the comments. Have you seen this before, or has someone just straight up ghosted you completely, But it might be because either maybe they're not the best with communication, maybe they're not interested, or maybe they were quietly avoiding some things for quite some time that they decided to jump ship. All right. Take care. And also, if it is something super deep, you don't have to share it in the comments. Please don't. Safety first. All right. I will see you guys next Wednesday. Thank you for joining me for another video.